Hello again, everybody. I'm Paul the Nitro Scars here. Welcome to this edition of Nitro Memories. This is part one of a two-part look at the remainder of 1987. Part one, which is now, we'll take a look back at November 1987. So let's get started. And we get started with two pay-per-views on the same day. Vince McMahon decides, I'm going to tear down the NWA by putting on the Survivor Series. Only the strong survive, as I mentioned last month, pitting Hulk Hogan's team against Andre the Giant's team. Well, that seemed to work at the Survivor Series. What we saw was the Honky Tonk Man walk out against three potential top challengers, Jake the Snake Roberts, Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, and the Macho Man Randy Savage. We saw the Killer Bees and the Young Stallions survive in the tag team Survivor Series match. We saw the Jumping Bomb Angels make a name for themselves by winning their Women's Survivor Series matchup. And at the end of the day, Andre the Giant was the sole survivor as Hulk Hogan gets counted out, body slamming both King Kong Bundy and the one-man game, making Hogan looking weak to Andre the Giant, the sole survivor. And you could see Bobby Heenan go, yes. Excuse me. Now, this is a sign of things to come with Andre the Giant versus Hulk Hogan in 1988. More about that build up in part two, where we wrap up 1987. On the other side of the coin, Starrcade 87, Chi-Town Heat, happened the very same night. Now, as far as our cable company, Store Cable, back in 1987 here in Dover, Delaware, we had both pay-per-views. And for what I heard, the Survivor Series won out. But Starrcade 87 had some good matches. Dusty Rhodes won the United States Heavyweight title by beating the Total Package Lex Luger with a DDT on the chair. The plan didn't work, JJ. The plan didn't work. We all saw Nikita Koloff unify the NWA and the Universal Wrestling Federation TV titles as Nikita became the undisputed World's Television Champion. Also, we saw the Road Warriors get ripped off in Chicago. We all thought they won the NWA World Tag Team titles. When another referee came in and did 1, 2, 3 after the Doomsday device, the crowd went absolutely bananas. No, Tommy comes in there. No. Animal flipped Arn over the top rope. That's a disqualification right there. Disqualify him. So Tully and Arn remained the champions. I thought there was going to be a near riot in Chicago. And, of course, the main event, Nature Boy. Oh, by the way, on a side note, the Rock and Roll Express beat the Midnight Express in a scaffold match. No, Jim Cornette did not go up the scaffold this time. He is not that stupid. He sent his bodyguard up there. Ricky Morton delivered a low blow and climbed quickly down the scaffold, making Bubba look stupid. Of course, Big Bubba Rogers would be the big boss man in the World Wrestling Federation. Back to the main event. Nature Boy Ric Flair became the 5-time NWA World Heavyweight Champion by defeating the Hands of Stone Ronnie Garvin in a cage. As I mentioned last month, it was a dumb decision by Jim Crockett for Ronnie Garvin to not defend the NWA World Heavyweight title so that he could train for Ric Flair in the cage. Why? That was a dumb move. Excuse me. It was a dumb move, and because of that, Ric Flair took advantage of the staleness of Ronnie Garvin and beat him in the cage to win his 5th NWA World Heavyweight title. And it would continue on throughout most of 1988. Now that is a title reign, to say the least. And that, in essence, is Starrcade 87. Also that night, that particular weekend, the AWA had their Thanksgiving Spectacular with a controversial Greg Gagne versus that was Greg Gagne versus Kurt Hennig in Minneapolis, Minnesota. where Larry the Axe-Hennig and Vern Gagne got involved. We go to World Class Championship Wrestling to see Kevin Von Erich lose to Al Perez by disqualification to keep the World Class Heavyweight title. So in essence, the World Wrestling Federation won that night with the Survivor Series. Now we know where the Survivor Series is at these days, featuring the War Games. Big mistake, WWE. Big mistake. And that, in essence, is November of 1987. I look forward to those two tapes that came out, by the way, in January 1988 at Video Outlet here in Dover, which went out of business, I believe, in 1990. Well, that's going to do it for part one of this edition of Nitro Memories. Stay tuned, everyone, for part two as we look back at December 1987. Plenty of fallout from both the Starrcade and the Survivor Series, plus the Pro Wrestling Illustrated Achievement Awards 87 came out. Until then, for everyone here, I'm Paul the Nitro Skyler saying, so long, everybody. We'll see you in part two of Nitro Memories, and that is next.